This is our first finals of the year.
I'm absolutely pumped. Cannot wait to see how these cars are going to do. Looking for a bit of redemption here to try and score some first points of the season.
Okay then, eyes on those lights. It's a random gap between when the green comes on, so none of the drivers can predict it away. Look at that reaction time, almost equal across the whole grid, moving backwards for Carl Cox Motorsport. Sideways contact there. Alatia into Tanner Faust. Tanner Faust has the inside line, the whole shot. Kevin Hansen, Kovalainen. Hansen was in that car last year, has moved to the inside line. He's trying the Fraser McConnell move. Can he pull it off on Faust as well? McConnell went round the outside of Faust in one of the qualifying sections. No, he can't. Roll in the background. That's the Andretti machine's gone over again. Timmy Hansen this time has dipped off in the inside of turn 2. The car's upside down. Faust leads. Alatia slots in behind. Heikki Kovalainen in P3. Sand flying up in the background. Where's Timo Scheider? There he is. Now, did the Andretti Tequila machine land on its wheels or its roof? I reckon it's on its roof, but at the minute it is Tanner Faust leading for Neon McLaren XE. They're up the right way, but they're going no further. Frustration on Hansen's face. Look at that, he's gutted that. It's just a shocking start to the weekend. Munnings isn't even going to get a look in. They're going to have to write this one off, Nikki, and just go again tomorrow.
Devastating, absolutely devastating for the Andretti Tequila team. But look up ahead. So we've got Neon McLaren up against Abt Cupra going
Alatia's gone over, sorry, Nikki. Alatia's gone over the front of the McLaren in the exact same place as Katie Munnings tried to pass. Tanner Faust has had to miss that flag. Heikki Kovalainen's missed it as well. In theory, that's a 10-second penalty each, but if he's been forced off the track by a shunt, I think the stewards might look on that favourably. So absolute carnage. There's Alatia on his side, right, just looking super chilled for a man who's unfortunately had the exact same crash that Munnings had this morning, only hasn't quite gone over.
Who would have thought the first race would end up is basically just a double header at the moment between Kovalainen and Faust. I mean, this is going to be a fantastic battle on their hands.
Yeah, it is. Look up ahead. Let's see where Timmy Hansen is. They're coming up towards that moment. Faust getting sideways, looking for the inside line. Can't find a way through here. There's a little jump crest. He's right in behind Kovalainen. So the Abt Cupra machine on its side at the side of the track. We're still waiting to see if any of the results will be under investigation. Look at that. It's just wrecked bodywork everywhere. Clambering up the top to get through the gate. The right-hand side of that waypoint gate is gone. In theory, they should be able to gun it from there. Yes, they have. So they're away again. And in the background, it's Timo Scheider for Carl Cox Motorsport trying to get up with these guys. I'm saying red flag. Okay, they're going red. So that means they're going to get the drivers. They'll do the switch, and then they'll probably have a little clear up and then release the cars based on the gaps coming in. So we do want to see the gaps coming in. Here we go, Hosas is off and the McLaren's off, and there we go. So they've been set off at those intervals. It was super quick, wasn't it, between them in the end? But Hosas leads, Emma Gilmore in P2. I feel like they let the Carl Cox machine go a bit early, but inside lineup for Hosas, she's looking for that flat, smooth traction, and actually Gilmore just blasts straight past her. So Gilmore's used the Anoa hyperdrive to try and get the lead there. Clearly out in front. I wonder if there's a problem for the JBXE machine, because Hedda Hosas has been eaten alive here. Christine GZ looking to come around the outside as well, and she does. So maybe, yeah, problem for JBXE. That's a shame.
That is such a shame. Looking at the timings, there is a gap of 5 seconds at the moment between Emma Gilmore and Christine GZ. I mean, possible, doable. She could gain in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, she's also, though, I've just noticed, just popped up on our screen and yours, is the contact between car 8, which is Carl Cox Motorsport, and car 23, which is Andretti Tequila, is under investigation. Now, that can only be turn 2, where the Carl Cox machine moved across, and okay, the stewards are going to look at that.
And remember, they're fighting for the difference between, 8 points for the winner of the redemption race, 6 points for the runner-up. So really, there's 2 points in it between them, but that could mean anything by the end of the season. Every point counts.
Well, we've seen it won by the tiniest of margins.
Exactly.
We really have. Last year, it was won by an absolutely tiny margin. It came down to the extra points for the Continental Traction Challenge and all sorts of things. Emma Gilmore going to come around in the McLaren up to the finish line jump. It's not looking too brand new, but for a redemption race result, that's pretty decent. So it's a win for Faust and Gilmore with McLaren after the restart of the redemption race. P2 for Timo Scheider and Christine GZ, though the Carl Cox Motorsport machine is under investigation for turn 1.
Let's take a look at the redemption race results. So unfortunately, Andretti a DNF Abd Cupra, a DNF. JBXE, another DNF for 3 teams. They did not complete, no points for them. But it was Carl Cox Motorsport in their debut performance, their first race in Extreme E, who have managed to take home 6 points. And then Neom McLaren, Tanner Faust and Emma Gilmore with the win in the redemption race. 8 points for them.
Well, the first start of the redemption race was carnage. Let's see if these guys get away better. McConnell there staring at the lights. Hammer down now, release the handbrake and release all that horsepower down towards turn 1 on the inside line. It's a great start for RJ Anderson, backs the car in, runs Matthias Ekstrom out wide. Ekstrom takes that long line. In the background, watch out here for Johan Kristoffersson. The RXR machine, he's passed 3 cars already. Going to try and take the McConnell line around the outside. RXR outside, inside line for Veloce. Rear end of Fraser McConnell kicks up super high. It is RXR who lead from the outside of the grid. That is a Kristoffersson special, copying the move of Fraser McConnell earlier on today. Goes from outside to inside and gets the whole shot. That's outstanding. Look at Ekstrom, he's so close behind the Veloce machine, and Fraser McConnell's in there as well. The gaps at the minute, there's a 2.9 gap between P4 and P5, the X44 Vita Carbon and the GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. But at the front, the gap is 1.4 across the top 3. Only 0.7 between first and second place of Rosberg X Racing and Veloce. Hummer EV off to the side of the track, so that was a mistake or a broken car. But Anderson, RJ Anderson, is parked at the side of the road. They were in P5 anyway. On board the Hummer this is, so that's, yeah, you can see the visibility. So he rolls. So Anderson is unsighted by the dirt. He pulled out of the roost to try and see where he was going. Meanwhile, out front, where has Ekstrom gone? The science machines drop back. So the site 2.7 seconds. I don't know what's happened to Matthias. Kevin Hansen is still right there. Look at them dipping the left wheels in the water, trying to find the smooth sand and the extra traction. They're going to come in really close. We've got a yellow flag situation somewhere out on track. So we'll have a slow zone, it's saying at waypoint 17. That's just popped up on our time screen. There is Ekstrom. He's only 3 seconds back, but he was right on the back of these two, so maybe a mistake for him somewhere while we were looking at RJ Anderson parked up. Okay, into the switch zone then. So coming in, what are the gaps as they come in? It's 3.1 seconds between Rosberg X Racing and Veloce. Here's the flags, which are giving you an idea of how scattered out bottom right of your screen where the different cars are. How far back is Laya Sands? She's 14 seconds back, so something happened to them on the way into the switch because the gap was big on the way in. Taylor is closing the gap down. It was 3 seconds, it's 1.5 now. They've all got their Inoa hyperdrive. They won't use it until they're a little way down the straight, if they use it at all. Let's see if either of them tries. I don't think Taylor will do it this lap because she's not quite close enough, so she'll do a whole nother lap and see if she can use it on the last lap to pass. And likewise, Arlen Kotlinski's hanging on to it to defend from that move. Yeah. Okay, so that's okay. Taylor's, for some reason, Taylor looked to me like she ran wide. Where's the RXR going? Why did she miss the waypoint? Because it's the step down jump, unless they've had permission to do that. Okay, this it's going to go at the stewards 100%. So, okay, pick this apart. Molly Taylor looked like she ran what they have had permission. They've had permission to miss that jump. We've just heard from race control, so there won't be a penalty for that. Taylor ran wide, and she then used her hyperdrive to try and gain the time again, but that was on the way into the slow zone. So she then had to kill it straight away. So she's lost what I think was her best chance of overtaking on the straight.
Nearly 7 seconds ahead of Molly Taylor of Veloce Racing.
Yeah, that's a big old gap now. They'll be on the radio to Arlen Kotlinski and just saying, you know what, you can chill a bit. You've got a bit of space. Here she uses the Inoa hyperdrive. That's exactly where I thought she would use it. I thought she'd have to use it to defend from Taylor, who would be doing the same thing. But Taylor's used it earlier on in the lap, and unfortunately they're not going to be able to find a way past now. Well, coming up then on to the last few crests. Kristoffersson and Arlen Kotlinski didn't have the easiest of starts to this weekend today. Just a few little issues, caught in traffic in Q1 and Q2. You saw how pumped Johan Kristoffersson was because he knew he'd done enough of a job to get them up into the final over that crest jump towards the end of the lap. Coming around now, just a couple of corners to go. They won the first round in Saudi last year. They've won 5 of the 10 events in Extreme E in the history of this series. And with just a couple of corners to go, coming up towards the finish line jump, on board that car is Michaela Arlen Kotlinski for RXR. Over the finish line, they take the win in round 1 of 2023 Extreme E. Brilliant fight back after an amazing pass by Kristoffersson in the run to turn 2. P2 goes to Hansen and Taylor for Veloce. It'll be Ekstrom and Sanz in P3.
Veloce Racing.
There we go
I mean,
then. Unexpected, wasn't it?
But what a moment for these guys. I think when you're unexpectedly suddenly promoted to P1, I guess it makes it even sweeter. So it was a DNF for Team Chip Ganassi, unfortunately. McConnell and Gutierrez finished fourth, with Christopherson and Arlen Koslinski in third. Second place achieved by the Chiptienza Science team with Matthias Ekstrom and Lyle Sainz, and P1. The Veloci guys, Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor, looking very pleased indeed.